The power of self-worth. When you truly understand your self-worth, everything in your life begins to shift. Too often, people go through life feeling like they have to chase after others for love, attention, validation, or approval. They feel as if they must beg to be noticed or explain themselves constantly just to be accepted. But let me tell you this truth. A confident, awakened soul never chases, never begs, and never explains. Why? Because they know their worth. Self-worth is not something that another person gives to you. It is something you discover within yourself. It is rooted in your soul, in your divine essence, in the truth that you were created with value from the very beginning. You were not placed on this earth to convince people of your importance. You were not created to run after those who overlook you or to kneel before those who cannot see your light. The moment you stop chasing is the moment you begin to rise. Think about it. When you chase, you are literally running after something or someone who is moving away from you. That means by definition you are placing yourself beneath them. You are saying, I need you to complete me. But the truth is, you are already whole. You are already complete. The divine power within you lacks nothing. And when you beg, you lower yourself even further. Begging for love, attention, or validation is like telling the universe, I don't trust that I am enough. But once you awaken spiritually, you begin to see that begging for love only repels it. Love flows where there is strength, dignity, and self-respect. Begging dries the river of abundance, while standing tall allows the current of blessings to flow freely toward you. And finally, explaining. How often do we find ourselves trying to justify who we are, what we do, or why we live the way we live? But here's a secret. People who truly see your light don't need explanations. They feel your energy, they respect your presence, and they honor your choices without you having to prove yourself. Those who demand constant explanations often do so because they don't respect you, and no amount of reasoning will ever change their perception. So my friend, the real power begins when you decide to stop giving away your energy. When you realize that you are worthy as you are, you no longer chase, beg, or explain. You simply stand in your truth. You radiate your energy. You allow the right people, opportunities, and blessings to flow naturally toward you without force. This is the foundation of confidence. This is the secret that confident, spiritually awakened souls know, that their worth is not determined by external validation, but by the unshakable truth that they are divinely created, infinitely valuable, and completely enough, just as they are. Why you should never beg for attention or love. Begging is not only about words, it's an energy, a vibration that communicates to the world that you don't believe you are enough on your own. When you find yourself pleading for someone to stay, for someone to love you, or for someone to give you the bare minimum of respect, what you are really doing is handing over your power. And here's the truth. Power once handed over is rarely given back. It must be taken back by a strong shift in mindset, by realizing that begging only diminishes your value in the eyes of others, and most importantly, in the eyes of yourself. Think of it this way. When a person truly loves you, when someone truly values your presence, you will not have to beg. Love flows naturally. Respect is given freely. Energy moves effortlessly between two souls who see each other as equals. The very moment you find yourself begging for what should come naturally, you must ask yourself, why am I lowering my worth to convince someone of my value? The fact is, the right people will never need convincing. They will see your worth clearly, without explanation, without begging, without constant chasing. Begging is rooted in fear. Fear of abandonment, fear of loneliness, fear of rejection. But here's the awakening. Loneliness is not a punishment. It is a sacred invitation. When others walk away, when doors close, when someone refuses to give you what you deserve, the universe is not punishing you. It is redirecting you. It is teaching you that begging is not your destiny. Your destiny is strength, dignity, and alignment with people and opportunities that match your true worth. Let's be honest. Every time you beg, you silently declare that you are not enough as you are. And that is the greatest lie you could ever tell yourself. You are enough. You are whole. You are complete without anyone else's validation. The love you seek begins with the love you give yourself. When you start treating yourself with honor, When you stop chasing, stop begging, stop explaining, people feel that energy. And ironically, that's when respect finds you. That's when love flows naturally, because you no longer need it to survive. You are thriving already. Remember this: begging does not build love, it destroys it. Pleading for attention does not create connection, it breeds resentment. Explaining yourself endlessly does not bring understanding, it drains your spirit. What truly attracts love, respect, and loyalty is self-respect. It is silence where begging once existed. It is distance where chasing once consumed your energy. It is peace where explaining once exhausted your soul. So the next time you are tempted to beg someone to see your worth, pause. Look in the mirror and remind yourself, I am enough. If they cannot see it, they are not meant for my journey. Begging is beneath you, and the universe will always replace what you lose with something far greater, if only you dare to let go. Why chasing only pushes things away? One of the deepest truths of life is this: the more you chase something, the further it seems to run from you. This applies to people, to relationships, to opportunities, even to dreams. When you are in a state of chasing, you are operating from fear, from lack, from the belief that you don't already have what you need. And when you send that kind of energy into the universe mirrors it back to you. Instead of receiving what you desire, you experience more rejection, more disappointment, and more emptiness. Think about it. When you chase after someone's love, what you're really saying is, I am incomplete without you. I need you to feel whole. I need you to validate me. That vibration of neediness is heavy, and people can sense it. It makes them pull back because no soul wants to carry the weight of another's self-worth. Love, when it is real, flows freely. It doesn't require you to beg, to explain, or to run after it. It finds you in stillness, in alignment, in truth. When you chase opportunities, it's the same. You send a message to the universe that you are desperate, that you do not trust in the divine timing of your life. And what happens when you try to force something that isn't ready? It slips through your fingers. But when you step into faith, when you hold your vision, take aligned action, and trust the process, you magnetize what you desire without strain. The right door opens effortlessly, the right person notices you, the right situation aligns itself with your path. The spiritual lesson here is profound. Chasing is the energy of lack. Attracting is the energy of abundance. When you chase, you are screaming to life that you are incomplete. But when you stop chasing and start becoming, you embody wholeness. And wholeness always attracts. Imagine the sun in the sky. Does the sun chase the earth? No. It shines, but it radiates. And by its very presence, it draws the planets into orbit. That is the model for your life. You are not here to chase. You are here to shine. You are here to embody your truth so powerfully that the right people, the right opportunities, and the right blessings cannot help but be drawn to your light. This is the moment of awakening, to stop running after what is running away, to stop exhausting yourself proving your worth, to stand still, grounded, and radiant in who you are. Because when you do, you no longer live in fear of losing. You begin to live in the knowing that what is meant for you cannot and will not miss you. Never explain. Your energy speaks louder than words. There comes a point in your spiritual awakening where you realize that explanation is a trap. The more you try to explain yourself, the more you give people power over your energy. Think about it. Every time you defend your choices, your beliefs, your dreams, or your boundaries, you are essentially asking for permission to be yourself. And that, my friend, is a silent form of self-betrayal. When you know your truth, you don't need to explain it. When your intentions are pure, they don't require validation. And when your soul is aligned, you don't owe the world a speech about why you walk the path you walk. Silence is not weakness. Silence is mastery. Because those who truly see you, those who truly value you, don't need explanations. They feel your heart, they sense your spirit, they understand your vision without you having to justify it. Explaining is often a sign of insecurity. It's an unconscious attempt to control how others see you, to shape their perception in your favor. But no matter how carefully you explain, people will only hear you through the lens of their own perspective, their own wounds, their own limitations. You could spend hours explaining and still be misunderstood. Why? Because it is not your responsibility to make others understand your journey. It is your responsibility to walk it with authenticity. In the spiritual path, explanation can become a distraction. You may feel tempted to explain why you don't chase anymore, why you don't beg anymore, why you set firm boundaries, why you no longer tolerate disrespect. But remember this truth: your energy explains for you. Your actions, your growth, your confidence, and your peace of mind, they say more than 1,000 words ever could. There is power in mystery. There is strength in not revealing everything. When you stop explaining yourself, you reclaim your energy. You no longer scatter your spirit in an attempt to be seen. You stand firmly in your truth, allowing your presence to speak. That is why the awakened soul radiates such power. They don't explain, they embody. They don't justify, they live. They don't convince, they align. So the next time you feel the urge to explain yourself, pause and remember this: you are not here to be understood by everyone. You are here to be true to your soul's calling. Those who are meant for you will understand without words. Those who are not will never understand, no matter how many times you explain. Choose peace over persuasion. Choose presence over performance. Choose alignment over approval. Never explain, because your life, your energy, and your journey already tell the story. Never explain. Live authentically without apology. There comes a point in your journey where you must understand one of the most powerful spiritual truths. You do not owe anyone an explanation for how you live your life, the choices you make, or the path your soul calls you to walk. The need to constantly explain yourself is born from insecurity, from the fear of judgment, and from the desire to be understood by people who were never meant to understand you. When you are constantly explaining, you are seeking validation. You are asking for permission to exist as you are. But here's the truth: you don't need permission. You don't need acceptance from everyone. And you certainly don't need to justify your existence to those who have already decided to misunderstand you. Spiritual awakening teaches us that the people who are meant to be in your life will not need endless explanations. They will feel your energy, understand your heart, and support your decisions, even if they don't fully agree with them. On the other hand, the people who criticize, question, and push you to constantly defend yourself are often not against your actions but against your growth. They feel threatened by your evolution because it reminds them of their own stagnation. Never explain yourself to those who cannot see your vision. You were not given your dreams, your calling, or your destiny to convince anyone else. It was given to you because only you have the ability to fulfill it. If you are waiting for everyone to understand, you will be waiting forever. Not everyone will see what you see, and that's okay. Living authentically requires courage. It means standing tall when others question you. It means making decisions aligned with your spirit, even if they confuse or upset the crowd. It means saying, "This is my life, and I choose to live it unapologetically." That doesn't mean arrogance or pre-D. It means alignment with truth. Think about it. The great leaders, thinkers, and spiritual teachers of history never spent their time explaining themselves to doubters. They didn't beg people to understand their vision. They walked in their truth, and eventually the world caught up. Your job is not to convince anyone to see your worth. Your job is to embody it. When you stop explaining yourself, you conserve energy. You redirect your focus from trying to control opinions to nurturing your inner peace and purpose. This freedom allows you to rise higher, to attract people who resonate with your authenticity, and to walk away from those who drain your spirit. So remember this: explanations are not owed, they are gifts, and you choose when and to whom you give them. Live with such authenticity that your actions speak louder than any explanation ever could. Your life, your peace, and your truth do not need defending. They need living. the power of detachment, and trusting the divine flow. When you stop chasing, begging, and explaining, something miraculous begins to happen. You step into the sacred power of detachment. Detachment is not about coldness, bitterness, or shutting people out. It is about trust. It is about believing that you do not have to control every detail of your life for things to align in your favor. It is about releasing the desperate need for validation and recognizing that what is meant for you will not require you to lose your dignity or your peace. Think about the energy behind chasing. Chasing comes from fear. The fear that if you don't run after someone, they will leave. Begging comes from scarcity. The belief that you are not enough and must plead for someone to notice your worth. Explaining comes from insecurity. The need to constantly justify why you are deserving of love, respect, or opportunities. But when you detach, you rise above fear, scarcity, and insecurity. You choose faith over desperation. Detachment is one of the highest forms of spiritual surrender. It is saying, I release my grip and I trust God, the universe, or divine source to bring what aligns with me. And when you do this, you stop fighting against the flow of life and instead allow yourself to move with it. Imagine standing in a river. If you resist, the water crashes against you. But if you release and allow, the river carries you effortlessly toward where you are meant to go. That is what detachment feels like. Peaceful, aligned, powerful. In relationships, detachment teaches you that love should never be forced. If someone wants to leave, let them. If someone doesn't recognize your value, that's their loss, not yours. The right person will never require you to beg for love or constantly explain yourself just to be understood. The right person will see your worth effortlessly. Detachment allows you to stop over-investing in people who were never meant to hold your heart in the first place. In your career and dreams, detachment means doing your best and leaving the results to a higher power. It means releasing the obsessive need to control the timing and outcomes of your efforts. You plant seeds, you nurture them, but you trust the harvest to arrive in its divine season. When you do this, you release the anxiety of when and how and instead focus on now. That is where your power truly lives, in the present moment. Spiritually, detachment is a form of freedom. It liberates you from the chains of other people's opinions, from the weight of constant explanations, from the trap of trying to force outcomes. It opens your energy field to attract blessings with ease instead of resistance. Detachment says, I am enough, whether you see it or not. I am worthy, whether you validate it or not. I am whole, whether you stay or leave. So embrace detachment as your strength, not your weakness. It is the proof that you no longer operate from fear, but from faith. The more you let go, the more you rise. The more you surrender, the more miracles unfold. As we close this journey, let's return to the heart of the message. Never chase, never beg, never explain. These are not just words strung together for motivation. They are guiding principles that carry the power to reshape your life, your relationships, and your destiny. Life becomes heavy when you start running after people who don't value you, when you beg for attention that should be freely given, or when you waste precious energy explaining yourself to those committed to misunderstanding you. That is not living. That is surviving in chains. And you were not born to live chained. You were born to live free, powerful, and aligned with your true self. When you stop chasing, you reclaim your worth. The right people, the right opportunities, and the right blessings will flow toward you because you are no longer misdirecting your energy. Instead of running behind shadows, you become the light. And light doesn't chase, it attracts. When you stop begging, you discover abundance. You realize that love, respect, and kindness are not things you need to plead for. They flow naturally when you stand firm in your value. Begging diminishes your spirit, but standing in gratitude and self-respect magnifies your presence. You stop being needy and you start being magnetic. And when you stop explaining, you step into true freedom. Explanations are for those who doubt you, but your life is not a courtroom. You don't owe everyone a justification for your path. Your growth, your decisions, your faith, they are yours. The ones who are meant for you will understand without needing paragraphs of reasoning. The ones who don't understand were never meant to. Remember, silence is often louder than words. Walking away speaks more powerfully than chasing. Holding your dignity speaks more deeply than begging. And living your truth speaks more convincingly than endless explanations. This is what spiritual awakening teaches us: to trust the flow of life, to stand in alignment with our higher self, and to let go of what does not serve us. It's not about being arrogant or cold. It's about honoring your soul. So the next time you feel the urge to chase someone's love, pause. The next time you feel like begging for respect, stop. And the next time you feel like explaining your worth, remember, you are already enough. Say it with me. I will never chase what is not aligned with me. I will never beg for what should come freely. I will never explain my worth to those who cannot see it. From this day forward, live by these truths. Hold your head high, walk with dignity, and trust that life will align with your courage. You don't need to lower yourself to be accepted. You only need to rise to your highest self to be unstoppable. Because the moment you stop chasing, begging, and explaining, that's the moment everything begins to fall into place.